Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jordan with the Laundromat Resource podcast. This is show 125, and I'm pumped you're here today because today I got back on the show David Laing, who you guys loved, by the way, the last time he was on, and I did also, which is why we had him back on. And in fact, since he's been on, which was not that long ago, actually, he has continued to just grow his commercial, corporate pickup and delivery side of the business. And so we get into a lot of exactly how he has done that. So if that's something that you are trying to do right now, we've got something super special for you. You're going to want to listen to the very end. This is, dude, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Just make it to the end of this episode. And I promise if you are trying to grow the corporate commercial side of your pickup and delivery business, this is the episode for you. And there's an opportunity for you at the end that I am very excited about. And you'll see kind of what that is at the end of the episode. So make sure you get that. That's going to be today's fast lane tip, is make it to the end of this episode, especially if you are either currently or soon to be interested in getting those salons, massage parlors, restaurants, yada, yada, yada. If you're looking to get that business in your pickup and delivery or drop-off service, make it to the end. That's your fast lane tip today. Let's jump into it with David, because this one is jam-packed with a lot of very practical information. He's going to tell you exactly what he does to grow his pickup and delivery business. And it has grown hugely, which he'll share about. And he'll show you his numbers also. All right, let's get into it with David Laing once again right now. David Laing, welcome back on the show. How are you doing?
Good day, sir. I'm doing well. Thank you.
It is awesome to have you back on. We have been talking since you have last been on.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot happening over there, and we are going to chat about that. But real quick, just checking in on how things are going up in the Great White North lately.
It's nice. Weather's finally nice. It's nice and hot. So we like it.
Yeah.
Hasn't slowed down business either.
Oh, that's good. That is good. That's the real question. We're over here having
absolutely.
hurricanes and all kinds of weird stuff happening in California.
Man.
So,
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. It's been exciting over here.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
Actually, earthquake we had during the hurricane, both were very minimal in terms of their impact around here, despite what they've been saying on the media. So,
yeah, no kidding.
anyways, business has been going good. So that's what we're here to talk about. I mean, you were telling me about what's going on with your business, and I was like, dude, are you willing to come back on and tell us what's happening and how you're doing what you're doing? And you're like, yes, let's do it. And so actually, we've been talking a lot about this even more recently. So, and we're going to get into what that is. So make sure you stay to the end of this episode because some cool stuff going on and some cool opportunities coming up. So let's start with business. Can you give us a quick recap, just a short 30-second version of your story getting into the industry, and then we'll go from our last episode to this one?
For sure. So I'm an airline pilot, and I had some rental properties a year and a half ago. I decided that it was tough to find another rental property. I didn't decide, it just is tough to find a rental property. But I decided that I wanted to get into the laundromat business. So about 14 months ago, we bought our first laundromat, and it's been a pretty exciting ride for the last year and a bit.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because there's a whole boring businesses thing going around, and laundromats are included on that list. And I get what they mean, but also, man, at least my laundromats are rarely boring. There's always something going on.
For better or worse. Yeah.
I mean, I get what they're saying with the boring business thing, but man, at least mine, not boring at all. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you are, your laundromat is it's not like a huge city, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not. We've got 150,000 people here. We're an hour, not even an hour west of Toronto. And yeah, I mean, it's a fairly affluent city. There's lots of jobs, lots of business. It's a pretty robust economy here in Guelph, Ontario, and it's been good for us.
Yeah.
I feel like the demographics have been good for both the self-serve side of the laundromat as well as the service side, like the wash and fold, pick up and delivery.
Well, and that's what I really want to talk about, if you don't mind, because as we were talking,
Hmm.
you were telling me about what your sort of pick up and delivery, wash, dry, fold stuff is doing, and specifically on the commercial side of things. And I was just kind of blown away. So, take us from the last time you were on the podcast to today, and tell us what's been going on with your pickup and delivery business.
Yeah, so we well when we first took over the laundromat, we inherited a few corporate accounts. There was a few hair salons and a few massage therapists. When we originally bought the business, there was and I talked about this on the last podcast. There was just one really big customer, which we didn't get the benefit of when we took over. So unfortunately, we took over a business that was struggling, and over time, well, over the last 13 months, we've been able to improve that dramatically. And so I don't remember what the numbers were on the last podcast, but when we took over in July of last year, July of 2022, I billed out $1,400 the first month, and now we're regularly billing around $8,000 a month for the corporate. And so and we've seen growth on the self-serve side as well, and as well as on the pickup and delivery. The pickup and delivery before was like the residential side was basically non-existent, and now it's we have regular pickup and delivery residential customers every week. And it's, what I like about that is because we have a fairly robust corporate wash and fold operation where we have a driver going around the city Monday through Friday on regular routes, doing all the regular pickups. We're able just to slot in new residential orders that come in. So any orders that come in through the website or people that phone in, we can just say, yep, there's a driver going out tomorrow, so they can hit that house. So there's a benefit to having that regular route happening every day, because it makes the incremental pickup and delivery cost of new residential orders, very low, because your driver's already out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, while you were talking, I had to pull out the old phone and pull up the calculator app, and $1,400 to $8,000 in just over a year. That's like a 570% plus growth in that corporate business account. So I'm curious, like, what do you attribute that success to? Because I mean, I think a lot of people who are trying to get started, and like you said, like you got punched in the gut, right from the get
Yeah.
go, especially on that
Hmm.
sort of corporate laundry service side of the business, right? And you lost that big client
Hmm.
basically before you even got started, right? And so,
Yeah.
how do you recover from that, and then how do you push and continue to grow that business there?
When we first decided that we wanted to buy a laundromat, the goal was always to build the wash and fold, the service side. Um, and so we were okay with buying a laundromat that didn't have one that existed at all. We ended up buying one that had a small wash and fold operation, and it actually was a decent one with the big account. And when we did our risk analysis, like we kind of did a SWOT analysis as part of our due diligence, we said, okay, well, there is the chance that we lose this really big customer. Like it accounts for the majority of the wash and fold revenue. we have to be okay with losing that. And we, my wife and I decided, well, you know what, the goal has always been to build it ourselves. So, that's what we're going to do. And so that's what we had to do. Thankfully, there were small accounts already. Like outside of that big account, there were small accounts. As I said, we billed 1,400 that first month, which is, it's not a lot, and I barely covered, it barely covered the labor.
Yeah.
But I reached out to all of those customers, and they were mostly massage therapists and a few hair salons. And we said, look, I just want to introduce myself. I'm the new owner of this business, of this service, and I just want you to know nothing's going to change, for the next while. So I'm just want to introduce myself. If there's any problems, here's how to get a hold of me. And so we just kept everything the same as far as pricing and service, so that they got comfortable with us. And then I went out and started onboarding new customers at a higher rate, because the price that the previous ownership had set was losing money. So we right away had to raise the prices on any new customers coming in. And then ultimately at the end of the calendar year, we raised the price 50% on all of those existing corporate customers. And I struggled quite a bit on how to do that. So again, I don't want to say that 570% growth came solely from bringing in new business. Part of it was raising the price on existing business. But we, amazingly, when I contacted all of the existing customers and I told them that the new rate going forward in 2023 was going to be 50% higher, I only got 2 phone calls out of like 8 people. So 2 of them called and said, this is a tough pill to swallow. And I said, I get it. I struggled for a long time on how to do this, whether we do like the Band-Aid approach or incremental. I said, I understand. It's just, unfortunately, it's what we have to do. Because it was just ludicrously low before. It was losing, like nobody could make a dime like you can barely even pay your staff at what the rate was before. So those 2 people got it. And we for the 2 of them, I said, look, I'll give you a few months at 25% more, and then we'll go to the full rate in a little while. That lets you like raise your prices or do whatever you need to do, to adjust. And they were both happy with that. They were like, great. Actually, we lost one customer. She was a small RN massage therapist, and she said, you know what, I'm kind of easing out of my business anyways, so this is a good time for me to duck out. So, but other than that, it amazingly was great. And all the other customers like, yeah, that's, they had no problem with it. So raising prices was one way that we did it. And the other way has been a combination of onboarding new customers through attracting through our website using Google Ads. We run Google ad campaigns, cold outreach, and social media. So we've been able to pick up a few accounts using through Facebook and Instagram, and not even paid campaigns, just organic reach. So
who's running that for you?
So I'm doing the social media myself, and I'm doing the cold outreach myself. And one of our partners in the business, he's my brother-in-law. He's running the Google Ads. He's actually a Google Ads manager. So we have the benefit of using his expertise to run our campaigns.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've got a combination of bringing in new business, and you're getting those through sort of a variety of methods. From running some ads, you got cold calling going on, and you've got social media stuff happening, and so you're raising prices, you're getting new customers, you're starting to, get that snowball working. You know what's really interesting too? Actually, this just hit me. So there's a book that just came out called $100 Million Leads, which I highly recommend that you get. I'll put a link to $100 Million Leads book in the notes there. And it's funny because I don't typically think of it's a sales book, like how to get sales, and I don't typically think of laundromats when I think of sales and getting leads and stuff like that. But as you're talking, I'm like, dude, this is great, and a lot of what this book talks about is stuff that you're actually doing. So it's really cool, and I want to dig a little bit into the details of because one of the things that we talked about in your last podcast episode is that you guys I love how you have set your business up. In fact, if you haven't listened to David's last interview, you should go listen to that one first, or at least right after this one. And I'll put a link to it down below also, or in the show notes. But one of the things that I love is that you've set your business up. And again, this is a relatively small laundromat. It's not in a big, big giant urban center or anything like that. But you're running it very professionally. And I loved that. That's what psyched me up about your episode when you came on before. And I think that has been a huge part of your growth in this pickup and delivery service, is that you are conducting yourselves professionally as your business, but you're also like portraying yourselves to clients and customers and potential customers as a very professional laundry service company. Again, we've been talking a lot about what exactly you've been doing, and you've been kind of systematizing this for yourself, which has been very cool. So I thought we could just jump into a little bit about, when we talk about professionalizing the laundry service business, I think I'll speak for myself. It's hard to envision what that means exactly, and what exactly do I do to professionalize. But that's what you're doing, right? So I'm curious, like what are the things that you're doing that is helping you build a professional laundry service that's portraying yourself as that's able, allowing you to grow 570%, where your current clients are okay with you raising your prices by 50%, and you're able to onboard new clients 50% higher than your old clients were onboarded on, right? So talk to me about what your kind of the system you've got going on that you're doing, to help you achieve this kind of growth.
Yeah. Well, I think it starts with being professional in your branding. So our branding from day one was, we worked with a branding company in Australia, and we had our website designed by them as well. It's called Sasquatch Digital, and if anybody's interested, I can put them in touch. They did phenomenal work on our branding, our logo, and the website. The website looks fantastic. And then because we're having potentially large corporate customers, corporate customers of all sizes really, coming through and looking at our website, and I want them to feel comfortable that we're professional enough to be a part of their business process. People have to feel good and comfortable that they're going to get what they need on time and to the quality that they demand. So, that's their livelihood.
Yeah. Can I pause you right there? I think that was a huge bomb you just dropped right there. Like that needs to be a perspective shift for anybody who's trying to do corporate commercial, laundry service, where you become a part of their business system. And so in order to, for a business to entrust a part of their system, their process
Mm-hmm.
to you, you need to demonstrate that you're worthy of being a part of that system and process. And like you said, starting with the branding,
Absolutely.
that's the first
Yeah.
impression, right? That's the,
Mm-hmm.
that's on your dating profile. That's your picture that you decide to put up there, and
Yeah.
they're going to decide which way to swipe, right? Or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
You've got to have,
Exactly.
professional branding, something that looks
Yeah.
good and that communicates,
Yes.
hey, you can entrust us as being a part of your business system,
Mm-hmm.
your business process. I thought that was a huge golden
Yeah.
nugget. I don't know. I don't really like the golden nugget phrase, but it really was a huge golden nugget and a perspective shift that I think will
Yeah.
serve all of us well to think that way, that we are
Mm-hmm.
actually inserting ourselves
Mm-hmm.
into, a system that a current
Yeah.
business already has when we take on a corporate or commercial client. I
Absolutely.
love that.
Absolutely. It's like you're a supplier. You're they're going to shop around and find the best quality supply. That's what we're doing, is we're supplying something that they need inside their business. So I think that's where it started. And then I guess, so the question was, how did we go ahead and do this? It started there. And then as I started doing cold calls.
Yeah, let's
And
start with the outreach. Like, how are you
okay.
actually? Who are you targeting, and how are you getting a hold of these people?
So the majority of the new customers we brought in have been through our Google Ads campaigns. So the return on that spend is just it's phenomenal. Like, we spend. It used to be at the time. Most of the time, it's been $500 a month on our Google Ads, and we've since upped it to 700. We're finding it's a little bit more optimal at that for us in our market. So it's really not that much, but we've added thousands of dollars to our monthly recurring revenue on just the corporate side alone. And actually, that 700 includes campaigns for self-serve and residential. So not all of that is attributed just to corporate. So the actual return on ad spend just on the corporate campaigns is, many multiples. So, yeah. So outreach is primarily has been Google Ads, people coming through our website. We've also had good success. We've picked up 4 accounts through social media, just free social media. And I need to post more, or I need to find somebody to post for on our behalf. I'm doing it myself, and I'm lucky if I do 3 in a week. It's more like once a week, really, on Instagram and Facebook. In Facebook, so where we've had success is on Instagram. Instagram has brought us. It was initially one massage therapist, and she works at. And what's nice is a lot of times these massage therapists and naturopaths and osteopaths, they work in the same office. So oftentimes they'll start sharing information. Say, hey, every Tuesday this guy comes and picks up our laundry. Do you want in? So she actually sent us one of the other massage therapists in her office, and that's kind of a nice referral. And then we also picked up through Facebook. We picked up a local baseball team, so we do all of their jerseys for the summer. It's like the local, minor league team, and but it's nice because there's partnership opportunities there, and they get about 10,000 fans a season throughout the season. You have a few hundred every game, like 500 a game. So that allows us, we can get in front of eyeballs that way. And then there's been cold calling. Cold calling I've had some success with it. I would say the best, if you're going to do anything, I would spend the time on branding and website and Google Ads. But certainly cold calling, what cold calling did was it helped me identify some of the pain points in our customers' world. And it put me in touch. Like I was able to speak to some of the owners of these businesses. We've been targeting massage therapists are awesome. Like they're so good because their sheets are fairly small and quick to fold and quick to wash. It's all like some don't even have fitted sheets and they're small. So it's not like it's a big king size sheet. It's like, for the small massage tables. We really like them. The only trouble with them is the oils sometimes can be hard to get out. So we have special things that we can use for that. And, so that's been, I have, long story short, I have picked up a couple of customers using cold outreach. And then what I noticed was as we were doing, sorry,
no, yeah, go for it.
Did I answer the question?
Yeah.
Jordan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah. What I noticed was that as I was going through this process, whether it was people reaching out to me or me actually getting in touch with someone through cold outreach, there was kind of a pattern in the sales process, and it works. What I did was I started documenting it. I started documenting what I was doing in my sales activity because I was thinking, well, as we grow and down the road, I'd like to be able to actually train salespeople or a sales team. And if we expand into other cities, which is our goal, like local community cities, it'd be great to have a team of people making calls and going out and doing sales meetings and landing corporate business for us. So I started documenting the entire process, and my sister was going to help us as well, and she wants to get involved on the sales side as well. So I was like, well, I may as well just put this all down into a process. And then as I created the process, I thought, well, shoot, instead of just having a PDF, or like a Google, like a document with it written, I created a tool, like an actual tool that we can use in Notion. Notion is a productivity app. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with it. And we can actually go through. So as I'm going through the sales process, I can refer to this tool, and it's got all of my stuff that I need. It's got, email templates and marketing handouts and scripts and a CRM. It's got tons of stuff.
All right. So once you get a client or customer who either, through one of your ads or through a cold call or social media or whatever, and, they reach out or you get a hold of them or whatever, and they say, okay, yeah, we're interested potentially in your service. What's your next step? Like, what are you doing with them there? Because getting a lead is one thing, and converting that lead to a customer is that's a skill set in and of itself. So what are you doing to initiate that process of converting them from a lead to a customer?
Yeah. So basically it's this 5-step process, as we talked about. Outreach was step 1. So we've got a lead coming in now. Step 2 is what I call the laundry weigh-in. And it's basically a sales meeting. So the entire goal of step 1, responding to the person's email, answering the phone, or cold outreach, is to try to get a meeting with them so that you can actually, the idea is to give them an accurate estimate on what their costs are, because what the laundry cost is going to be for them. Because oftentimes the question is like, hey, can I get a quote on laundry? I'm a massage therapist. I'm doing all my laundry at home right now, and it's really annoying because it spends, I spend an hour and a half every single night. What's it going to cost me to do laundry with you? So usually I ask them a few questions, and I say, hey, I'd like to come by and weigh out your laundry and do an assessment so I can give you a more accurate estimate, because it's hard for me to do it otherwise. So generally they got no problem with that. They're like, oh yeah, no worries. So we'll set a time and a date, and I'll go and basically assess their laundry. And so I call it a weigh-in. I actually bring a little scale with me, and I'll say, okay, so how many days worth of laundry is this? And, they'll be like, well, this is about 3 days worth or 2 days worth or whatever. And I'll very, very accurately figure out by asking them, what is it that we're doing? So they say, okay, well, this is what I use for every single customer. If it's a massage therapist, it's like the headrest cover. I have like a flat sheet, and then I have another sheet, and then I have a blanket on top, or and then a towel, or whatever. So I figure out what the product is that we're going to be washing. I weigh it, and I figure, okay, so how many sets a week? How many customers do you see? And then we can kind of figure out what volume they're doing and what the weight is going to be, so that I can give them a more accurate estimate. So that's the whole purpose of the meeting. You get some face time, and as I said, in my tool that I created, in my Notion tool, I call it Laundry Sales OS, because it's basically like an operating system for doing laundry sales. And it incorporates a whole bunch of different things into it, tools and marketing concepts and everything. But it is distilled into this tool. And so when I go to the laundry weigh-in, I can pull up. I just have my phone, and I can enter all this information. I have the questions right in front of me that I need to ask, because I've done enough of these sales calls where I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to ask like what if they want this or that, or there's always like some detail missing. So now I can just go through and I'm like, okay, this, and then it looks super professional. I give them a paper marketing handout that has, I think it incorporates a whole bunch of awesome marketing concepts in it. It makes them feel at ease. It makes us look professional, and I can tell they like it. So basically at the end of the sales meeting, once I've had some face-to-face with them, and I've kind of gone through what their business is and what they need, and I've got all the details that I need, I'll tell them, listen, I'm going to go home. I've got everything that I need here. I'm going to write up a quick summary of our meeting today. Just take a quick look at that email for me and let me know that everything looks right to you. And then I'll be able to send you a proper estimate. So like, okay, cool. So I then go home. That's now moving on to step 3 of the sales process, which is, I call it the summary of notes, or the deal builder email. Basically I think it's very often overlooked in most sales processes. And I feel like it's the linchpin to this process. Like, it should not be overlooked. And it keeps the sales process moving forward in the direction you want it to go. It reduces the risk of like window shopping, basically. Because the problem is, you might get a lot of calls from inquiring potential customers saying, hey, can I get pricing on this or that? They're just shopping around. They're like, maybe this is something I would do. I'll think about it. What you want to do is set the expectation and say, I will put together a pricing for you. I'll send you an estimate. But if one of these options looks good, here's what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and schedule a free trial. If it doesn't look good to you, no problem. Like, we'll just stop there. You've set the expectation that they're going to take some sort of action. They're either going to say, no, the pricing doesn't look good to me, I'm out, no problem. Or they'll say, yeah, you know what? One of these things would work. That would totally work for my business. So yeah, let's go ahead and keep things moving. So that keeps things moving ahead.
Yeah, real quick.
Because you're essentially, yes.
Yeah, let me jump in, because I love this. Right, so you have leads coming in from ads or cold calling or social media or wherever, maybe your customer referrals. You've got leads coming in. And I love the personal touch of going out, especially on a corporate client, right? A corporate account. That personal touch of going out and meeting with a decision maker of some sort, right? It doesn't have to be like the owner of the business or anything, but some sort of decision maker with the business. And, number one, you're gathering information that you need to, quote them out and everything like that. I love that you have this system, again, that you've put together, this operating system that has all the questions you need to ask and all the things you need to do that's in there for you to refer while you're there. And I'm assuming, do you fill it out while you're there, while you're just asking them, or how do you?
Yeah, I do. I used to go with a paper, like a paper one.
Uh-huh.
And then when I created the this laundry sales OS tool, it's all in my phone now. So I literally just go through and there's like different check boxes and different fields I can fill out and stuff. So as I'm going through, I just ask them the questions and I just fill it out as I'm going.
Yeah, and I love the practicality of that, but I also love that is, I mean, that just shows your customer, your potential customer here, like, okay, they have a system that they're working through, and they're getting the information that they need, so they're you just look like you know what you're doing, right? But also, so I love the practicality of meeting them face to face, but I also love like, I think specifically when it goes to B2B, business to business relationships, that sort of interpersonal relationship thing, I think people negate that or downplay the importance of that because it's sort of this ambiguous, like, my business is doing business with your business. But even in B2B, it's person to person, right? This is a sales. You're selling the person who's the decision maker, right? And so, and one of the big tenets of sales is building rapport with, with your potential customer, your customers, and in understanding their needs, right? And so I love that in-person thing. But then, I mean, I think you nailed it with the linchpin comment. Like, this summary of the meeting that you just had, you go home, you throw it into an email or whatever, a summary of the meeting. That just takes it up a notch in my book. Like, that communicates professionalism. It communicates that you understood their needs and that you have the capability of meeting their needs. And, the whole, listen, I am no salesman, but I've been, making an effort to learn, sales a little bit more. And, just one of the things that I've, seen is one of the core tenets of sales is that follow-up, right? The fortunes and the follow-up. Right. And so just following up, and then by communicating to them, hey, I'm going to send this to you. Could you just respond and let me know that it looks right? Number one, allows them another opportunity to be heard. Number two, it puts it on their radar that you're going to be emailing them. So they're looking for your email at that point too. And then number three, it gives you another touch point with this client, another opportunity to build rapport. I think that it's money, right? And I think that extra little touch that you nailed it. I think probably a lot of people don't do that. But I think that extra little touch makes all the difference. Honestly, I think it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. And it also prevents you from accidentally getting the wrong, from grossly overquoting or underquoting. If there's something incorrect in the way you perceived, what their laundry needs were, maybe they said we're doing 100 pounds a week and you heard, 500 pounds a week or something like that. You know what I mean? So you just make sure you're both on the same page as well. So
yeah, and I think that,
and they really appreciate it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that clarity plus good communication equals professionalism. Like, I think that is really what it is, right? You're trying to be clear on what their needs are. You're trying to be clear on how you can help them solve their needs. And you're communicating well, both while you're in person with them, but also, through this follow-up summary email, and just making sure everything is clear and that you're communicating well with them. I mean, I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been powerful. And there's a few other things in there that are pretty clutch that, I think are just powerful to keep things moving along in that whole process.
One quick thing before you go on to your next step. I just want to I don't know. I am I take all the personality tests or whatever, and I am like high on the spontaneous and low on the planning. It drives my wife insane, right? However, I have come to appreciate and realize the power of having the systems and doing the same things, the right thing over and over and over and over again. So I want you to know that personally, as we're talking, I'm getting more and more excited about this operating system that you have working, because I mean, like you said, once you have something that you know works and you start tracking it, and I mean, it's repeatable, right? Like you can just copy and paste over and over and over. So I'm
100%.
loving this system. So we've got outreach, we've got your laundry weigh-in in-person meeting. You're going home and you're sending a summary of email. So what comes next after you're doing that?
Yeah, so once the person has seen your summary email and they've responded and said, yep, everything looks good, then I send the actual estimate. And in the estimate, so as a result of the summary, we now know what it is they need, what it is they want, and we can now give them a pretty accurate estimate. And I usually give them a menu of services. I give them generally there's like the granted it's the most expensive option, but it's the highest value. And that's the full service, pickup and delivery, wash and fold. And we discounted a little bit from our residential rates. So I even say like, they'll save you X amount over the course of a year. It usually works out to thousands of dollars, and it looks good and it's the best value for them. And then I usually have a few other options as well. Like if they wanted to save a little bit, but they still wanted us to wash and fold, they could drop it off so they could save a little bit there. Or maybe it's just rags and they don't need them folded, like for a shop or something. We could do wash dry bag, for example, where we wash it, dry it, and then just throw them in a bag. So there's no folding. That saves labor. And then the cheapest option would be they drop off and pick up, and we just do the wash dry bag. So I usually give them a menu, but they generally everybody just does the full service one. So we had one person do the wash dry bag for a little while, and we have one person I think that does the drop off wash dry fold. But like 95% of people, I'll do the wash dry, the full service option. So that's the estimate. I give the menu. I think that's unique. Not a lot of people do that. And we also, it's some people have different needs as well. Like some people have, so we try to work out what it is that they want, and we try to figure out the optimal day for them. Again, that's all part of the meeting, but I reiterate that in the actual estimate email. And then at the end of the estimate email, I lead them to the next step, which is, if let me know which of these looks good for you. Basically, if you're happy with one of these options, I'd love to go ahead and schedule a free trial for you so you can test drive our service. It's no obligation. And so once we get to that point, if people are interested, and many are, I don't know what the percentage is, but often if you're going out doing, more often than not, people want to go ahead with the free trial, and we do get them as a customer. And there's only been one person we've done the free trial for. Like if we've actually gone and if they're like, yeah, I want to do the free trial. Once we do the free trial, there was only one person, out of dozens that didn't want to go ahead. All the rest, if we did the free trial, they were happy to come on as a customer. So once you get to that stage, it's a pretty low risk thing, but I think it looks really good because again, it's another touch point. Like you've had the initial outreach contact with them, you've had the laundry weigh in person, you've had the summary email back and forth, you've had the estimate, and now you're scheduling the free trial. And then you have to deliver back the product and follow up and say, hey, how did you like it? Was it good for you? So, by the end of the process, you've talked to them like 6-7 times. And you're starting to get familiar with each other, which is nice. So again, for the free trial, once it comes time for that, if they say, yeah, let's go ahead and schedule a free trial, basically it's a game time. We tell the staff, tell the driver, listen, this is exactly how this person wants it. This is, when you're going to pick it up. This is how you pick it up. This is how we're going to bag it. This is how we're going to fold it. This is how we're going to process it. And, you deliver it back at the agreed time and day. And once it goes back, then, I let them know, hey, your stuff has been dropped off. Hope it's great. Have a great weekend. Follow up on Monday and say, hey, how'd everything go? Are you happy? Is there anything we could do differently? And they're like, no. I mean, again, except for the one person, everybody else is like, yeah, no, it's good. Let's schedule something going forward, whether it's once a week or once every 2 weeks or whatever twice a week, whatever their situation is. So basically that's the whole process start to finish. And yeah, like I said, like you said, it's repeatable. I made it so that I could give it to a sales team. Mm-hmm. I can give it, initially it was for my sister. I made it originally, I originally documented it so I could give it to my sister. And because she said she wanted to help out in sales. So, yeah, I mean, it's 100% repeatable, and you could have sales guys out doing it and earning commissions or whatever. And
is she doing it?
I think it works well. No, she's involved in another business right now, like at home. She's got a little one too.
Yeah, I'm getting vibes that she's weaseling.
Yeah, she said I think she wants to, but I get it. She's got a 18-month-old at home, and she's starting a new job. So
yeah, that's awesome.
But
well, listen, dude. Yeah. I mean, I'm super pumped about this. I know a lot of people who either have pick up and delivery or drop off laundry service, or who want to add that, or who even adding that without owning a laundromat yet, right? And so, I think this is like a system like that's repeatable and effective. I think that's awesome, right? And so, as we were talking about it, and I was looking at, you sent me over your operating system, and I was like, man, this is really, really good. It's really clean. It's got everything that you need to get started. And we had started having a conversation like, hey, this might help out a lot of other people. And so we went through a lot of iterations of what that might look like. We've talked about selling that operating system. We've talked about courses and stuff. And, why don't you just tell us kind of like, what have we landed on? What are we doing? And how's this going to help people?
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, we went through a lot of iterations of it, and what we finally decided was to do this 8-week cohort-based course. And I'm so excited to get into this. So we decided that we would do an 8-week cohort-based course. So it would be with a class, essentially. Instead of just having like video tutorials or video lessons, it would be live instruction. So we would all meet once a week, virtually, and a small group would go through the 8 weeks together. People that want to get themselves started with growing their business through corporate sales, which is a nice, predictable income, and maybe these are people that don't have a wash and fold business, and they're not really sure, because the question is always like, well, how do I start? Do I just staff somebody there 8 hours a day? Hope people come in. Like, how do I do this? You could go out and start getting corporate sales, bring in a few customers, and whether it's massage therapists or hair salons or Airbnbs or what have you. And, how do you do that? And that's a good way to get started, bringing in some predictable income, which allows you to build upon that.
Yeah. And
so
as you were telling me, I mean, you're talking about growing your business 500% and talking about this operating system. And I'm like, well, I mean, like, is this something that, you could teach someone else? And you're like, yeah, it's repeatable, and, showing me everything. And I was like, yeah, this is totally repeatable. And I've been on this mastermind kick, right? We have mastermind groups that are available, in the pro community. It comes with the pro community. I'm a huge fan of those. If you utilize a mastermind group, if your group actually meets, weekly or biweekly or monthly or whatever cadence you guys come, I'm a huge proponent of that. I pay a lot of money to be in mastermind groups. I had a mastermind meeting this morning before we jumped on this call, and I'm a huge proponent of that. And so we had started talking about this cohort thing, and I was like, this is awesome, because not only are they going to get your operating system on how to actually do these, corporate commercial clients, which I don't see anybody else teaching people how to do those, by the way. I've seen, classes on pickup and delivery and on drop off laundry and stuff like that, but nothing on the corporate specific. So I love that. I was like, this is something that people need to, get together and talk about. So, and I was like, this is awesome for people who are just trying to get started. This is awesome for people who have this business now and already have, drop off or pick up and delivery and want to grow it. And really what growing it comes down to is having these repeatable systems in place. And why reinvent the wheel? Like, you've got something, it's working, it's grown your business over 500% in just over a year, and from almost nothing. And I was like, this is awesome. But not only do you get the operating system, weekly, we're going to get together for 8 weeks for 90 minutes. And, we're going to be teaching through the operating system and all that. But also it's this opportunity to meet with other people who are going through it and have that accountability, have that encouragement. We're going to have scoreboards so that, you make sure you're checking off the activities, right? We can't always control the outcomes, but we can control the inputs. And so we're going to be tracking the inputs and all of that. And the more we started, like I said, we've gone through a lot of iterations of what this could look like. And the more we started merging towards the cohort thing, the more I was like, yeah, this is kind of merging that mastermind with the course, with just getting after it and taking advantage of it. So I'm super excited about this. I mean, I know you're heading it up, but I'm going to be at these things, and I'm going to contribute, when I can and where I can. I'm super duper excited about it. But one thing I should say is that, number one, we're going to start October 2nd of 2023. So if you're listening to this beyond October 2nd, 2023, we probably have another one, coming out. This, in my mind, this is iteration one of what we're calling Laundry Service Accelerator, right? So that's number one. Number two is, we want to make sure this is awesome for whoever decides to join it. So it's super limited. We're taking a max. I don't even know if we'll take this many, but a max of 10 people in this thing. for this first iteration. So, yeah, so I don't know. I'm super duper excited about it. If it's something you're interested in, check out laundromatresource.com/accelerator. And again, that link will be in the show notes. If you're on YouTube, it's down below in the description, or you can just go to laundromatresource.com/accelerator and check out more information about that. But anyways, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I got super excited about this thing.
No, you're right.
I'm just like, where do you have an opportunity to be a part of other professionals who are trying to do the same thing as you, and we're all just going to be committing to meeting together once a week for 8 weeks to grow our businesses. And I mean, the other thing that we talked about is like, hey, this thing is only valuable if it's valuable, right? So we talked about it and we're like, 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. If you go through this thing, you do all the actions and nothing comes out of it, just tell us and your money goes. There's literally no risk. We anticipate everybody who goes through it is going to make multiples of whatever the investment is to get into it. And I don't know, I'm just excited. Okay, sorry. I'll turn it back over to you. Anything else you want to say about it?
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's basically a built-in mastermind. You're doing this course with others, and it's going to accelerate and create more potency in what everyone's trying to do, because there's going to be shared information, there's going to be shared experiences that can be learned, and I think it's also important to say that in addition to just the weekly meeting, everybody will be in a community. So the 10, or however many, I think we're saying max 10 right now, will be in a community where throughout the week they can share and connect. And I think there's going to be a ton of value in connecting with these people. And I mean, with masterminds and myself, just how powerful it can be. And it just accelerates the learning curve, and it accelerates, everybody gets to where they want to be that much faster. So I'm really excited to have this community of people come together.
Yeah, one other thing that I want to say is that because I'm so excited about it, and because we both want this to be as valuable as possible, this is only going to be for people who, number one, are going to commit to being at every meeting for 8 weeks, unless they or somebody very close to them is on their deathbed, right? Like, it's got to be a priority to be at these meetings. But number two, this is not, it kind of is a course, sort of, but it's not really a course. It's more of it's action oriented, right? So every week, everybody's going to have things to execute on to grow your business, right? If you're committing to meeting once a week for 8 weeks to learn how to grow this business, you've got to take the actions to grow the business, right? And so, listen, if you're at a point where you're not starting that, or you're not trying to grow that side of your business right now, or you don't feel like you can commit to doing some work during this thing to grow your business, it's no worries, no problem. Just probably not for you, or at least not at this time, right? Because the higher the caliber of us that are in this thing, the more committed we are together. And that's what I mean by high caliber. Like, we're committed to taking the actions, to showing up, to not being late, all those things, right? Like, the more everybody's going to benefit, the more everybody's business is going to grow. And so I wanted to point that out, because this is not like a willy-nilly thing that we're putting together here. This is for people who are excited about growing the corporate commercial side of their laundry service business. And that will be the aim of this. And our mission in doing this is to help you grow that. And so, and like I said, we're going to give you all your money back if you don't grow, if you go through it and you don't grow it, which we're 100% okay with saying, because we are 100% confident that you're going to grow your business far more than any investment in joining this thing. So anyways, I wanted to point that out too, because we want you to We want you to commit to it. We want you to be excited about it. We want you to grow that business because it changes your life. I mean, that's the whole goal here, right? Is like, yes,
Yeah,
growing your business
exactly.
is fine. Bringing a little more income is fine. But the whole point of having a business, the whole point of all of this, I think, is number one, to, serve your community well, to serve, your customers well, and to do that. And number also one is to change your life, right? To accomplish your dreams, to realize your dreams, to be able to use your time the way that you want to use it, right? So that is the whole goal of all of this, is to serve
Mm-hmm.
your community well and to build the life that you want to build for yourself. So those are, I don't know. I feel like I'm just rambling, but I'm just very excited about this. And I'm hoping some of you guys are pretty excited about this too. So again, check out laundromatresource.com/accelerator. David,
Awesome.
dude, number one, I'm
Awesome.
super pumped for you and your business. Like growing, that business that much in that short a time is a huge accomplishment, a huge feat in and of itself. And, pointing out that you're doing it as, you're a pilot, you're gone a lot. I always see you like posting pictures with your feet up in Paris or Barcelona or something. I don't know. But you and your team, you're working, like you've got stuff going on
Mhm.
too. Right. And so kudos to you, but double kudos for being willing to come on, share how you're doing it. And if nothing else, if you're not planning on joining the laundry service accelerator, nothing else, like take these steps that David has outlined in helping him grow his business and start to incorporate that into your service business, because it will help you grow. It will help you grow. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing all that stuff too. Any parting words of wisdom for us?
Um, well, I mean, just thank you once again, Jordan. It's always great to catch up with you. And yeah, uh, I think, like you said, action is what drives the results, and imperfect action is better than no action. So just getting out there, and whether it's even just posting on your social media, even setting up your social media if you don't have one, just that alone, and just having some sort of commitment to, what, I'm going to do these two things every single week, uh, it's amazing with whatever you do with consistency, what it can do to transform your business. So
Yeah.
that's all I got,
Yeah.
sir.
And I mean, I think I'm going to keep going here because I'm just pumped
Yeah,
about what you're doing.
absolutely.
I mean, I think that consistency evolves into a system, right? If you can keep that
Hmm.
consistency, I think it evolves into a system. So you can build a system for your business to improve and increase your business by
Hmm.
choosing actions, the right actions to be consistent at, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And I think the point of this cohort, this accelerator, laundry service accelerator, is to say you can build your own system. And maybe I'm sure some of you guys have your own systems already, which is awesome. But why reinvent the wheel? Because not only are those systems in place already and documented and able to just transfer to you, but so you don't have to do the work of building them yourself, but you also save yourself all the time. Like it's taken you over a year to, build the system, test it, make sure it works, see some results from it. So, and I think, just from my experience of talking to a lot of other people who've been building their businesses, I mean, 14 months is on the very low side of how long it takes. I'm seeing more 18 to 24 to 36 plus months to see the kind of growth that you've seen. And my question is, why? Why not just shortcut that, accelerate, if you will, that process of implementing these systems and starting to see that growth in your business? So that's what I love about what you've done. And this has been all you, right? Like you built the system. You came to me and said, check out what I've built. Do you think this could be helpful to other laundromat owners? And have taken that initiative. So kudos to you. Hats off to you for, doing both, building it for yourself and then wanting to share it with other people. So I know I already said that, but I that's what I want to see more of in this industry is people, helping each other out, build better businesses, serve, our communities and our customers well. So I admire you and I appreciate you for doing that.
Thank you, Jordan.
Awesome. All right, guys. Hope that you got a lot out of this episode because I know that I did, and hopefully you can hear it in my voice. I'm pumped about David and about what he's got going on and about this laundry service accelerator. Again, none of this means anything unless you take some action. Maybe your action is to go to laundromatresource.com/accelerator and, check that out over there. Maybe your action is to pick something that David talked about, implement it into your own laundry service system that you got going on. All right. See you guys on the next episode. Peace.